What the hell is that?
April 20th, 2018, 19 years to the day after the Columbine High School massacre near Denver.
Hey, lock this school down. Who was it?
A teen with a sawed-off shotgun concealed in a guitar case entered a Florida school, fired one shot through a door, and struck a student in the foot. The shooter surrendered.
Put your hands behind your back.
And told police he only wanted to inflict fear.
No, I'm saying that today is a day in Columbine, so other people are going to do what I do, just because.
That shooting was among at least 40 others around the world since 1999, in which the person who pulled the trigger expressed a fascination with the killers from Columbine High School.
It makes me sick. What happened was a horrible thing, and anybody that, is drawing inspiration from it, to me, it hurts. It hurts really bad.
Molly Holt was a senior at Columbine High School in 1999. She was a pitcher on the girls' softball team and a classmate of the two shooters who gunned down 12 students. And her favorite coach, Dave Sanders.
He was a great man. He was selfless, and he had a great sense of humor. He was an excellent coach. He was always there for you, no matter what. When they told us who it was, I couldn't believe it because I had so many classes with the two individuals. It felt like, it was like a combination of someone punched me in the gut and it felt like I was falling, like I jumped off a building.
At the time, Molly was friendly with the boys who would become her coach's killers, unaware that their class time conversations might have included clues about their plans for murder. One of the killers seemed fascinated with her father's military experience in Vietnam.
I thought, okay, that's normal, but now that I think about it, the questions that he asked me and my dad had nothing to do with his time in Vietnam or his role in the military. More so, did you kill anybody? Have you ever seen anybody die? What's that feel like? It was just kind of morbid questions. And it just seemed odd. Even my dad made a comment afterwards that that kid has quite a fascination with death. And I guess back then, I just didn't see it, but now I do.
A recent Department of Justice-supported analysis of 51 averted school shootings found peers were most likely to discover and report plans of an attack and were crucial to shutting them down. And in a 2002 study, the Secret Service found at least one other person knew the shooter was thinking about a possible attack 81% of the time. Molly says the boys in her video production class frequently mentioned ideas about violence, guns, and the military, but it wasn't enough to raise alarms.
I think it's tough as a child, or even as a teen. I don't think you possess those skills yet fully. And that's frustrating because thinking back on that now is so different to me, and it seems so obvious.
Though Molly didn't see the signs of the killers ramping up for an attack, Randy Brown did, and he took his concerns to the police.
And I think every time there's a school shooting, we think about it and we know our involvement and we know, and we're sorry that we couldn't have done more, and sorry still that no one, they're doing nothing to stop school shootings now. The methods they're using aren't working. Isn't it obvious to everybody? They're not working.
Randy's son, Brooks, narrowly escaped the massacre at Columbine High School and was once friends with the two shooters.
This is the Columbine Library. We moved it down into my basement office.
For years, Randy has been collecting thousands of police files, researching what went wrong.
People lost children here, and they were killed for no reason at all. It could have been stopped.
Randy and his wife say they witnessed several red flags and tried to warn police multiple times.
This is 98-5504, the incident report that we filed in 1998.
A year before the shooting, they alerted detectives to a violent website made by one of the killers who made death threats against their son.
He was building and detonating pipe bombs. They're threatening violence and they have access to weapons. That's a valid threat. It's kind of that simple.
But the police didn't thoroughly investigate until it was too late.
You know what's happened, what's been learned since Columbine? Nothing. The same things happened at Parkland. pitiful failures that happened at Columbine. So no one's learned a thing.
It's very distressing to see, in hindsight, how many people saw warning signs, or in some cases like Parkland, even reported the warning signs, and the attack was not stopped.
Dr. Peter Langman has been studying multi-victim, premeditated school shootings and the psychology of those who pull the trigger since the Columbine High School tragedy.
The more we can do to keep kids from being so full of rage that they want to kill, or so depressed that they want to die, we're moving in the right direction.
He says most killers on a school rampage fit into 3 categories: psychotic, where they've lost touch with reality; psychopathic, where they cannot feel empathy; or those who suffered trauma. Langman also found a majority of attackers had a history of being treated for one or more mental health issues, including depression.
So right there you have a reference to Columbine.
Now he teaches educators how to recognize warning signs, like the Columbine shooter's violent journal writing, and how to coordinate properly with authorities.
If the school can get the police involved, even if the law hasn't been broken yet, just alert the local police. Here's a student we're concerned about. You can't evaluate a risk if you don't have data. You need the information. You can't connect the dots if you don't have the dots.
Dr. Langman consulted on the National Police Foundation's recent study of completed school attacks, which recommends schools develop trained threat assessment teams that analyze a student's risk for violent behavior. Colorado schools conducted more than 3,800 last school year.
That means having a system in place for the students to report their concerns and making sure they know how to use it, when to use it, educating them about what to do, and thinking through the ramifications of a decision to report a friend.
In Colorado, kids anonymously report threats using the program Safe to Tell, an initiative created after the Columbine shooting.
Last night we got a report that a student was making threatening statements to bring a gun to school, and posted a picture of themselves bringing a gun, or holding a gun. So Safe to Tell report comes in.
We've got 86,000 kids in 159 schools.
John McDonald oversees school security for more than 86,000 students in Jefferson County, Colorado, in the district that includes Columbine High School. Nearly 700 people use Safe to Tell to report concerns over planned school attacks in Colorado in the last school year alone, up more than 9 times since 2014, and nearly 2.5 times since the previous school year.
Look, if you say you're going to kill us, you say you're going to blow us up, I believe you. We're going to put a safety plan in place at school that's so restrictive that you're not going to come in without your bags and person being searched.
Rocky Mountain PBS obtained a cluster of other examples of reports to Safe to Tell that led to possible thwarted attacks. In one case, police found weapons in a student's home. Another tip led police to conduct a threat assessment and develop a safety plan after determining the student was a very serious threat. And in a third case, police responded within 18 minutes to a tip about a school shooting plot and arrested someone that night.
I just don't think, even with all the tools in place nowadays for kids with school violence, I just don't think the maturity level is quite there. It wasn't for me, and I was a senior,
Safe to Tell didn't exist for students like Molly Holt in 1999. She keeps her guard up now.
I am very cautious of what people say to me now, and I take a lot of stock in what they say, whereas back then I did not.
And though she keeps her distance from some,
So this is our softball spread.
she always keeps her favorite coach inside her heart.
I love him.